Okay, okay, what you want to do is you want to check out the videos I did with Samuel Vargas, who is fighting Danny Garcia, his trainer Billy Briscoe, and basically, they do have a chance. I'm not saying he's going to win, but he does have a chance. But first, watch this funny shit real quick. Watch this funny shit.
Enjoy your last cherry of the year. I'll be waiting to take that green belt in 2017. Hashtag one time. Hashtag KOs for life. Hashtag two belts. Hashtag unification. Hashtag 2017. Bro, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Sit back and wait your turn. I got you, ho.
Yeah, what it be? The internet is crazy, right? But anyway, November the 12th, 2016, you're going to have Danny Garcia, who is, what is he now, 32-0 with 18 KOs, former unified champion at 140 pounds. Remember, he had the WBC and the WBA and also the Ring Magazine. And now at 147 pounds, he has the WBC title, Floyd Mayweather's title, by the way. He is the champion at 147 pounds as far as the titles is concerned. Now, you may not think that he's the number one 147 pounder, and I will say this. I understand motherfuckers is pissed. Fans are pissed. They are outraged. In this day and age, in this social media day and age, right, this smartphone day and age, you can't put nothing past fans. So the first thing that happened is when we found out that he was fighting Samuel Vargas, what did people do? Who? Start typing up shit, looking at your phone like Samuel Vargas, ranked number 43 by BoxRec. Yeah. And the questions started coming out because what I like to do here on my channel is, I'll say it like this. T-Street controversy will always be around. But T-Street controversy is also somewhat dying because I'm not into like that tabloid news anymore, So what I like to do is I like to educate people on my channel. I like to provide educational shit to let you know like how boxing fights get made, how the rules for defending titles and everything are concerned. So let's talk about it really quick. This is going to be about a 10-minute or so video, and or maybe a little longer. And basically, when you're a champion, whether you're the IBF, whether you're the WBC, the IBF, the WBO, or the WBA, you have to defend your title against somebody within the top 15. Samuel Vargas is not ranked in the top 15 of the WBC. Last I checked, he was ranked like number 23. Now, the reason why this is a non-title fight, November the 12th, 2016, PBC on Spike TV. Yes, that's the same day as McGregor versus Alvarez. We're going to talk about that. Or Alvarez versus McGregor. We're going to talk about that. It's here in Philadelphia. It's being billed as a charity event, but the thing is, it's a non-title fight. So people are wondering, well, what happened to all those guys, in the WBC top 15? Why are you not, defending your title against one of those guys? For example, let me just ring off some names to you. In fact, we're going to read the whole WBC top 15, and I want you to really think on why is he, fighting Samuel Garcia. Samuel Vargas. Also, Samuel Vargas, shout out to Samuel Vargas. He is a supporter of the channel, but if you've been watching me, bro, you know how I gotta tell that shit like it is. It's no disrespect. I gotta tell the shit like it is. So, let's go look at the rankings at the WBC. Okay, you have Floyd Mayweather, who is considered the emeritus champion. When you're an emeritus champion, that means that when you come back, or if you're not fully retired, you can come back and get first dibs and be the mandatory for whoever the champion is. Vitaly Klitschko had that status. Number one is Andre Berto. We heard the rumors about Danny Garcia and Andre Berto. We still have not got a clear answer on why that fight did not happen. In my personal opinion, the reason why the fight did not happen is money. Now, for it to be a free TV fight, you have Andre Berto, who has to make at least $750,000 because he made that to fight Victor Ortiz. And truth be told, that was short money than, probably the shortest money he's seen in some time. He may have got short money. I'm not saying short money as in it's not a lot of money, but compared to the fact that he made, $3 million to fight Floyd Mayweather, and the way Al Heyman has been known to handsomely pay his fighters, for him to make $750K to fight Victor Ortiz, on Fox, and Victor Ortiz made about $750K too. You have to think, okay, so the budget for the fighters was about $1.5 million, right? So in order for Danny Garcia and Berto to happen, you would think that Berto would have to get somewhat of a pay increase, right? Maybe $1 million. But guess what? Danny Garcia is also $1 million fighter. So there's no secret that PBC has been having some financial issues. PBC is not going to go out of business. They're doing what I look at as like restructuring. For example, there's still going to be free TV fights next year, but still not on as many networks. You see what I'm saying? And Spike TV, I really don't count Spike TV as free TV. Free TV is stuff like ABC, NBC, and CBS. You have to have a cable subscription to get Spike TV. So even though it's like a free cable fight, because you don't have to have Showtime, HBO, and all that stuff, it's not, you know. But basically, in order for Danny Garcia to make his $1 million, and for Andre Berto to make the money he has to make, in this day of what PBC is going through, then it would have to be on Showtime, or, you know, maybe Fox. I'm still learning, but if you've been following the political situation and what's been going on with PBC, then you get where I'm going with this. The money is just wasn't there. That's why you see guys like Errol Spence headlining and Fafard headlining on NBC now. Because when they were putting the big names on there, those cards were way too expensive. And also, those were time-buy situations. So when you seen Thurman versus Porter, guess what? That was Showtime Special Edition Championship Boxing PBC on CBS. Because Showtime helped foot the bill to get two big A-side fighters to fight each other on free TV. It is not known how many financially successful events that PBC has had on free television. Some are saying they haven't had one profitable. I'm not going to say successful because you get the ratings as successful, but profitable event on television. So when you look at the PBC on Spike situation, Spike TV is owned by Viacom. Viacom owns CBS. Viacom owns Showtime. So you would have to assume that, okay, well, you know, they're helping with the licensing fees. So those shows could be profitable, but you're not going to see super A-side fights on Spike TV. Spike TV is like the build-up to get to the other networks. Spike TV has had an amazing run. If anything has been consistent, it's been the quality of good fights on Spike TV. That much is true. But when you think of the political part of it, it's like Danny Garcia's fighting on Spike TV. You know? And that's a really big thing for Spike TV. So what I know about the financial, you know, side and the promotional side, I saw right through it. I said, okay, all right, he's fighting Samuel Garcia. We don't know how much Samuel Garcia is making, but guess what? I don't believe that he's making any more than $500K, maybe $200. But you have to think, what is in the budget for PBC? I mean, for PBC on Spike, like how much do they have to spend on the purses for the fighters? So when I saw that he was fighting Samuel Vargas, when we heard the rumors that he reached out to Kermit Citron of all people. By the way, shout out to Hector Munoz, who's supposed to be or heavily rumored to be fighting, and I talked to him. I'm going to upload that interview as well. Very acclaimed sparring partner for many of the great boxers. You know, so it's a lot of fighters that may not have like super winning records, but they do a hell of a good job getting fighters ready for fights. So we heard that Danny Garcia was going to be rumored to be fighting Kermit Citron, and that Kermit Citron was actually reached out to. Then Danny Garcia also reached out to Sam Eggington, right? And then it doesn't help with the comments of Angel Garcia, but put it this way. Understand that they don't give a fuck about those cherries. And Angel Garcia's got a cherry emoji coming out. They really don't give a fuck about that shit. And also, I want you to factor in this. Danny Garcia has somewhat of the Mayweather effect. Even though he's not a big shit talker and all that, he has somewhat of the Mayweather effect because now people will watch him to want to see him lose. And that's marketability. So imagine if him and Mayweather fight. Mayweather would be the good guy. And I think that fight can possibly, you know, happen. I didn't think about it before, even though we know that Mayweather said he's only going to come back for $1 million. And Mayweather versus Garcia, no, $100 million. Mayweather versus Garcia is not going to make him $100 million. Let's be real. Mayweather versus Garcia is a 800, 900,000, pay-per-view buy fight. Maybe $1 million, because they can say, okay, Floyd's back for the 50th fight, the final fight. They can bill it at that. It's maybe $1 million buy fight. But in this boxing landscape these days, pay-per-views are dying and pay-per-view sales are going down. So Danny Garcia and his team has been saying that they're taking this fight because they haven't fought since January. This fight's happening on November the 12th. They're taking this fight. Damn, the Bellevue fight's about to start. They're taking this fight. And Keith Thurman is definitely next in March. Now, nothing's signed, but it's definitely next. And truth be told, it has to be next. It's not known what network it's going to be on. I did ask Danny Garcia. It's not known what network it's going to be on. I asked him if it was going to be on pay-per-view. I know fans are like, oh, why would we pay pay-per-view when we saw Thurman versus Porter? But listen, listen. If it was on pay-per-view, if it was on pay-per-view, it's like come on, you got to support a fight like that. You got to support a fight like that. But Samuel Vargas may have a chance. Danny has also been getting heat because it's like this. You're fighting a fighter who's on a lower level than you, Errol Spence, beat. You're a champion. You're fighting somebody that a prospect beat or a friend's contender beat, and you're fighting them. So Danny was asked, is there pressure in fighting or trying to get Sam Vargas out of there before round 4, because that's when Errol Spence stopped it. And also, they did talk about that. If I'm correct, they took the Errol Spence fight on very short notice. He doesn't really have a bad resume. It's not really any names on there, but I'm saying, like, as far as he's only been stopped once, and it was by Errol Spence. He says 2 losses, 1 draw, 25 wins, and 13 knockouts. And Billy Briscoe is a trainer who may be really able to add extra. I forgot what word I was going to use, but basically Billy Briscoe has known Danny Garcia since he was a kid, so therefore he may have some inside things, and also he's a very smart veteran Philadelphia trainer. And Sam Vargas is describing himself as a smart pressure fighter. Now, here's the thing. We know that angles and movement can give Danny Garcia some problems. We've seen that with the Mauricio Herrera fight. Angles, movement, and high punch output. We've seen that with the Mauricio Herrera fight. We've seen that with the Ashley Theophane fight. We've seen some glimpses of it with the Robert Guerrero fight, with the Zab Judah fight, and the Lamont Peterson fight. Now, even though I had him winning all those fights, that, in my opinion, he got a gift. His first gift was against Ashley Theophane. Go watch that fight. And then, of course, the Mauricio Herrera. But when it comes to Lamont Peterson, he beat Lamont Peterson, in my opinion. He beat him. That's just my own personal opinion. But these fights are dangerous, when fighters pick on these guys, because you're giving guys like Sam Vargas a big chance of a lifetime. Even if it's not for the title, it's still a huge opportunity for him, because what if he beats Danny Garcia? For example, David motherfucking Peralta is ranked now by the WBC. And I was wondering, like, where these, because sometimes PBC be coming up with fighters you never know from nowhere. And you be thinking, like, who is the matchmaker? That just be like, yo, Robert Guerrero need a fight. And they just be sitting around the table and shit talking about who we gonna get. And somebody just like, yo, what the fuck? Let's call up motherfucking David Peralta, see what he's doing. Who been scouting David Peralta, let's go see what he's doing. Call him up, see if he wants to fight. And then look what happened to Peralta. He came in there and he outboxed Robert Guerrero. So I would think that it would be easy pickings for Danny Garcia. So I said, oh shit. So we know that Danny Garcia's got a fight coming up on November the 12th. This was before it was announced to be Sam Vargas. I said, oh, David Peralta is right for the pickings. And I'm not saying charity, right for the pickings. But, I guess maybe they got other plans for motherfucking David Peralta. But let me get back to what I was doing. Let me read off the top 15 of the WBC, right? Number 1, Andre Berto. Number 2, Charles Minucci. Also, Amir Khan was removed from the rankings because he didn't enroll in the clean boxing program. But yet, he will be back in the rankings next month. So he hasn't been permanently removed. And when he comes back, he's still supposed to be Danny Garcia's mandatory. The only reason why he hasn't fought Danny Garcia is because he had a hand injury. But Conor's in a good situation because, remember, a unification comes before a mandatory. So since Keith Thurman is the only WBA champion at 147 pounds, there's no issue in making Danny Garcia versus Keith Thurman. And then Conor's in a good situation because he'll be able to fight the winner of that fight and likely get knocked out. Just my own personal opinion. So you have Andre Berto, Charles Minucci, Sean Porter, Ray Robinson, Konstantin Pilomarev, Omar Figueroa, Carlos Molina, no, not that Molina, the one that had the stat rate charge, that only can fight in Mexico now, Frankie Gomez, Cesar Miguel Barrio Nuevo, Sefera Rodriguez, Jojo Dan, David Peralta, Sammy Vasquez, Paulie Malignaggi, and Dmitry Malakachenko. So you would think, well, why not one of those guys? And when I say one of those guys, remember we talked about the financial part of it earlier. Why not maybe a Ray Robinson, right? Now, I don't know if these guys have fights scheduled or if they, or if they've been in a fight recently. But it's like, why not a motherfucking Charles Minucci, right? Why not a Ray Robinson, right? Omar Figueroa, he fat now. We don't know what he's doing. I can understand why not Carlos Molina. You know, this is the Carlos Molina that fought Paul Williams and Arizona Law. He's fighting at 147 now. I can understand why not him, because you would have to go down to Mexico to fight him. He can't fight up here no more. You got Frankie Gomez. He's a Golden Boy fighter. Who is this Cesar Miguel Barrio Nuevo guy? Oh, he's from Argentina. You know, you don't want to fuck around with those Argentines. You remember Peralta's from there, Diego Chavez, Marcos Maidana, and a few other fighters that are on, even Fabian Maidana, you know, that are on like a tear now. You don't want to. We've learned, especially now with Robert Guerrero, you just don't want to be picking on Argentine fighters, you know? And then you have, you know, Jojo Dan, you know, why not David Peralta, you know, Sammy Vasquez Jr., even though he lost a fight. You may say, oh, why didn't Danny fight him? Well, since Vasquez is an Al Heyman fighter, that's not the Al Heyman system. Since Vasquez's last fight was against Felix Diaz and he lost to him, Al Heyman is not the type that's going to put one of his friends, contenders, prospects, or whatever, in a fight where they're going to go into a situation where they'll be the underdog. You know, that's just not how he works. And then you have Dmitry Malakachenko. I believe he's been fighting on Showbox. So when you look at the names that are available that you can possibly pay the same amount that you're paying Sammy Vargas, you know, you think like, well, you know, why, Danny? But the logic fans are using is that, well, you know, it's the lead up to Thurman. And then you have to understand, I'm from Philly, so I gotta ride with Danny Garcia. And he is a good fighter. Look at his resume. Even if it's not, you know, like not as much as it should be now, his resume is solid. For example, right? You can't deny the fact that, as Angel was saying, when he fought Nate Campbell, he was the underdog. When he fought Kendall Holt, he was the underdog. Eric Morales twice. They thought the first time was a fluke because Eric Morales was on the last leg of his career and doing really good at the time. Remember, he had that big fight with our Marcos Maidana that was like a fight of the year. And then he fought Amir Khan, you know, Zab Judah, Lucas Matisse, when they kept saying he was going to get decapitated. When he was there in the audience, when Lucas Matisse got Lamont Peterson out of there. He whooped Lucas Matisse's ass, and then of course there was the Mauricio Herrera thing, and a lot of people have said, I'm not making any excuses, but I'm saying that when he didn't do what he was supposed to do when he went down to Puerto Rico. He wasn't training like he was supposed to be training, and also he wasn't eating like he was supposed to be eating. So basically, he was a little drained. And guess what? That was the last fight he fought at 140 pounds. So you have to factor that in. He fought Rod Salka. Had no business fighting Rod Salka. I know a little bit of inside information about that, and Lamont Peterson was kind of hinting to it, but at the same time, Lamont Peterson has had his own issues. We're not going to, you know, get into that. He fought Lamont Peterson. He fought Paulie Malignaggi, Robert Guerrero. So later on in down the line, you know, they're going to say, like, yo, he's got an excellent resume. They're not going to be talking about 10, 20 years from now, you know, how, you know, he fought the guys, they were over the hill. I mean, us hardcore fans may, but if you really look at it, you know, the Zab Judah was a good fight for him at the time, right? The Lamont Peterson was a good fight for him at the time. Paulie Malignaggi, we knew he was going to lose, but we knew that was a good fight for him. Even the Robert Guerrero was a good fight for him, you know, because Robert Guerrero was, you know, even though he should have lost to Aaron Martinez, still, Robert Guerrero is a good fight for anybody because he can rough you up. You know, so it all depends on how you look at it, but I got to get to this fight. I'm going to be at the fight. I'm going to be live at Philly covering the fight. As you can see, I was at the press conference. I'm going to be at Danny Garcia's media workout. I did get some time to talk to Danny Garcia. You'll be able to hear my voice on other people's videos, and that was me grilling him, asking him the tough-ass questions. That was me because, for one, I had just got out the hospital. It's a crazy, crazy story. I can't get into it, but I had just got out the hospital. I got out of the hospital. And I I came here, grabbed my shit, I put it in the bag real quick, and left directly out, went right down there. And it's crazy. You know, I talked to everybody, but my Danny Garcia file got corrupted. You know, so I didn't really care too much about it because when I go to his media workout, I'll be able to ask him those questions over again. And the media workouts are a lot more, you know, like intimate. You are right there with the fighters, and you can, you know, it's not like all these media around and all over your neck and all that shit. But anyway. I think I covered everything. I just didn't want this to be like a super long ass video. But anyway, I think we covered the base, you know, the basics of it. I'm going to be at the fight as media. Stay tuned for my website, FightView360.com, which is a very innovative project. You know, it's a separate entity from T Street Controversy Live. But we're doing something very innovative. We're focusing on educating boxing fans. You know, we're not with all that gossip bullshit. I'm not going to be doing... That's why I don't do videos. People ask me, yo, did you see the video of Adrian Broner sparring and him and Mayweather chilling together again? Why don't you talk about that? I'm sorry. That's just not... You know, I'll do some of those every now and then, but I'm not into that shit no more. You got other channels that do that shit. You know, when they talk about the Weight Watchers and how people, you know, that's not me. You know, I'm not saying anything wrong with that. We need people to do that, but that's not me anymore. I'm focusing on, like, the real shit. Please subscribe. All the links to my social media are right down below. In the description box, there's Tony Bellew Flores fights about to come on. Remember, I do my videos live. Go to my Instagram, and it's a bunch of funny shit, you know, life shit, boxing shit, mixed martial arts shit, but boxing, funny shit, then mixed martial arts, then life shit. That's how it's ranked. Boxing shit comes first. Please subscribe. T Street Controversy, T Street Controversy Live.